remember 10 years ago, 22 or 3.
Yeah.
And I sat down with this man right here, and they put me on all kind of games. When I was young, I was excited about getting I had my first choice. I was excited about getting some money. First thing I did when I sat down with him over there, and then he got to put me on the importance of Dun and Brad numbers, like having your company's credit right to where you can go get these government contracts and build your portfolio. And I was like, when I left his office, I was like, man, I thought I was doing good and I was getting some money. Yes, so I was like, man, I left his office 5 years later. I acquired it all. So now we here, like between 7 years. Now we're here again, meeting each other at the top. I give some credit to him for putting me on. So, coming from a business, I'm a big young business guy, looking for a mature businessman. So, I think the turning point for me was when I sat down with someone that had money, that had money, that was making money already. That I saw I was making money, and then what I did was I soaked up what he was telling me, and that jump started me. If you could tell me, if you could give me like your experience of when you got into business and when you started to what was some of the things that jump started you being a guy from you said you got shot. Right. But this was 21 years old. You was like we was all from together. Right. They ain't teach us nothing, but they teach us from together. We didn't know. We had to figure it out. Right. So what do you think jump started? I had some other mentor. I said you kind of put me. I knew business. I knew it was in front of me, and I knew it was going opposite in all the dealing that was going on, the quick flips and this. There wasn't no Jeremy in there. Right. So I sat down with somebody that had money and that made sure they kind of passed some of the game down. Right. What'd you say your was coming out?
Right. Well, for me, theoretically, in the business model, incubator was the blessing of getting around the people I was able to get around younger in life. In my hometown of Brenham, Texas, I was around 10, 11 years old, and I was able to get around a gentleman named Mr. Van Dyke that owned an insurance company. So taking him to Tullage and going through speed reading classes that he was taking us to, memory class.
This is in Brenham.
Yeah, this is in Brenham. And he would take us down to Texas A&M. So he was the kind of gentleman that poured back into me at an early age and saw things in me that I didn't see. So, in talking with you and getting goosebumps and seeing a younger guy like you succeed in the initial meeting and conversations that we had, the whole componentized theory of it was to see you move, the next generation constantly move to the next level. So my whole theory and thought process was, okay, people pour into me, I'm pouring into you. And then it's about who's going to put in the work.
So I want to ask you the question. People go through, and I'm asking a question that I went through. I'm sure you went through it, but I want to actually put it out there and actually be able to talk about it and elaborate. Right. So when you were coming through, knowing the knowledge, having the knowledge, you had somebody else kind of poured into you and started into you. What do you see when you say coming back from kids, younger generations in poverty-stricken environments or just in the area where you just lack knowledge, like knowledge of business, credit, finances, because that's not important to our culture. Right. You know what I mean? We're told that was on hip hop radio station, right? I'm on TV. That's what motivates our culture. Right. Guys like us in the back, on the backline is kind of pushing us forward, right. And but then when we push forward and we get to certain levels, we got no foundation because everybody on what they see, getting it wrong with us. So I say, coming from these urban communities, what do you think? Like how did you get focused to stay awake and stay on track when everybody around you is doing the opposite?
Right. But the biggest theory on that, in my opinion, was the end game. What do you want in your life? What kind of life do you want to have? And through,
So you were thinking that at 21?
I was thinking that at 7 years old. I was always concerned with my life. I was a very independent young kid in the country because my dad was from the inner city of Houston, that's the world we met in, and my mom was from the country, so I understood both worlds.
Did the sports have something to do with it?
Yeah, sports.
So for me, sports.
Yeah.
Like my motivation to not get in trouble. Right. And I think that gave me that discipline, knowing that okay, well I can't get in trouble hanging with these guys. I'm gonna end up on the jail. If I go to jail, I'm missing my scholarship. I go to get a scholarship. I go to the league.
Right.
My mama needs a big house. My daddy needs a big truck. So at the end of the day, that was my motivation. So I was able to maneuver through the ghetto because I was, decent.
Yeah.
I was pretty decent friends with and I had a scholarship. So I think that saved me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but that saved me, and that started me having discipline and having taken, being responsible for my actions.
Right.
So I knew the end result wasn't in the streets on the trap hustling, because I saw them guys get a lot of money and go to jail. I ain't never seen one of them make it out very free.
Right, exactly.
And then I've never, and if they did, and they lost so much, or they lost so much time, they ain't spent time with their kids. They really don't know they really don't have the values that come with, just being like just living a faithful life, because they've been gone all the time.
Right, exactly. And a lot of times from just meeting you and understanding the process of collaboration based on I'm 49, you 34, is the componentized theory of giving
Birthday
back.
coming up too.
Yeah, the big 50 coming up in a few days.
Birthday.
So my whole theory in giving back, which I've given back to a lot of guys, cross-train them, because that's always been the biggest blessing
What's
for
your
me.
background? So your background, what's your love? I'm gonna say background is one thing.
Right.
What's your love?
Real estate development, any form of real estate, I'm excited every day when I get up.
And so your real estate portfolio is probably longer than most guys that say they do real estate.
Exactly. My whole component right now, and my company's been underwritten by Goldman Sachs. And the valuation part we are right now, I have the #1 assisted living platform in America of any African American. But that's what I expect. It's all about the level of expectation.
How did you get into it? How did you go from real estate to, I know they kind of coexist a little bit.
Right, yeah.
How did you, your love being real estate, and then how did that go from, was it ambitious, or was it with the money? Like you said, you want guys to get 1 million, want to go to 2, want to go to 50, want to get to the $1 billion mind, or the love?
I've been around, since '96 in the business world, but prior to that, I always wanted for business. And then it was like, okay, I make $1 million, couple $1 million a year or more here and there. And it was like a vision came to me, and I was like, okay, build $1 billion business. And that was after a tragedy where some things happened, and it was like, okay, I never knew how to quit and give up. The burning desire in you it fuels you so much. When the next man is quitting, I'm running harder because I'm always knowing I got our work channel and I know who's coming in the rearview mirror. So when I'm looking at my rearview mirror theoretically and want to succeed and want to pour back into people the way I want to, if I'm helping you, look here, this guy here, mega successful young guy, multi-millionaire, living a life and started with nothing. So when you pour back, then your blessings are coming. When I met you 10 years ago, I seen it in your eyes. One truth, figuring it out. Right. But then when we sit down, I was like, I'm pouring to you. That was a theory. I want to see you succeed. The more I push into you, and like I'm doing my son and others, and 40 or 50 that I've done in my 24-year career, is that I want you guys to be more successful than I am. And when I met you over 10 years ago, when you were starting, I said, well, let me sit down with this young man, give him time, and then he's going to know if I give him the direction, then he can go and execute. Because I knew the burning desire was there. And that's all it takes. And then now, when you're going to go case study, do your homework, check all the fundamental boxes in life, you're going to succeed because that's the expectation. The expectation is to get up and live an abundant life that God wants you to have. Now go put the work in. Go put the work in now.
3 things I want to do. I'll chime out here. 3 things. What I want to do, I'm going to ask you, but I'm going to answer myself, or however it go, vice versa.
Yeah.
I want to know 3, if you can pinpoint, you can pull out 3 mistakes from either you can take the business, you can take business approach, you can take financial approach,
right?
You can take just overall success approach. I'm gonna start and say I'm gonna take the overall success approach.
Right.
I'm gonna use my tool. And for us, and I'm gonna speak strictly to my culture, my experiences with my culture.
Right.
So I'm gonna say first is not having the knowledge.
Right.
Just like when we was coming, just like as being minorities, we was taught not to read.
Right.
So that's something that I never really thought about until you realize how much power is in reading.
Right.
Exactly. How much power is sitting down and actually filling your brain up. We're actually not solve. Like we don't have a system,
Right.
and this doesn't go for everybody. But we don't have a system in place to pass down our kids when it comes down to knowledge.
When you look at it and theorize all the components that you're talking about, it goes back into we're basically new to a lot of the financial aspects in the last couple hundred years in this country. So when you're willing to learn, educate, read, and apply what's systematically there for you, then the wealth component is there. I expect to be a billionaire. I expect you to be a billionaire. I know that.
Why is that?
Because it's here.
A billion?
A billion. A few
Billion.
billion. Billions. Millions are, you do that's not hard these days.
So making $1 billion.
Yeah.
Is it you got the money or is it that you got the mind? Like what? Like help me.
Well, the whole component is,
People want to know is when you speak a billionaire.
yeah.
Give me that.
Okay, when you think of billionaire access and status for yourself, that's a vision. Now, who's going to go apply the effort to go make that vary? They do it there in a week.
Okay.
So sometimes Jeff Bezos makes $15-20 billion in less than a month with Amazon. So that's the thought process, abundant overflow and success.
Is it something like more sticking together? Is it more investing more?
Yeah.
Is it more about just is it being happy, and then when you have a happiness, then it exerts into your business and put in your life? Like,
Right.
How do you get there?
It's a whole equalized component from God through religion, through self-aware that I'm going to be dedicated no matter what happens. I'm going to put this work in. I'm going to work you. So it's having confidence also in yourself, determination, drive to say, I don't see this, but I know I can obtain it if I put the work in. And I go back to the fundamental aspect of being raised in the country and calling on the big mama law. You're not going to work me. I'm going to get up early and I'm going to run late. I've been here the last few days, and most days you and I run on 3 hours of sleep or 4 hours, if that. That's the norm to sacrifice. And people already tell themselves what they're not going to do in their mind, and their brain associate with it, then it shuts you down. Oh, I'm not going to do all that. It's too much. It's hard work. It's dedication. Now you're not going to check the box off. And I'm telling myself every morning I get up, thank God I'm up. I'm up shouting and excited and saying, okay, let's go. Nothing's going to stop me. Let me go put the work in. And guess what? I'm like Bishop J teaches us. I'm going to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I'm going to reach the goal. And that's the epitome of the process to build a legacy.
When you reach the goal, what's next?
And then the goals changes.
So my thing,
the different levels.
You reach the goal, then you pull somebody back.
But you're constantly pulling people back. You're constantly reaching out. Like when I reach out to you, I'm always take time and give a guy everything I need and componentized theory to tell him about business model, S Corp, C Corp, LLC, LLP, what's your tax structure model. So you understand the validity of my structure. I made it as complicated as I was because the bigger the complicated matter, the bigger the pay. Opportunity zones, I own 2 of those. I'm setting a 3rd one up. Nonprofit 501(c)(3) I own shell companies. I own parent companies. So I own 20 different corporations that I own because it's all a structured mechanism of business from making the money to keeping the money, because you always have a partner out there, which is the IRS. So you look at marginalizing businesses, your structure writes that model down. Now you make the money, then you keep the money because you understand all the fundamental approaches.
I remember you saying something like, another thing, so you as a businessman, and I agree with this person. You say you don't let the experts do what the experts do. You delegate.
Right.
You don't change your time and try to do everything.
No.
That's one thing. So one thing in business I did learn, which I'm still learning to this day, because I'm so much of a micromanager.
Right.
To where I've learned
Right.
You can't do everything.
You can't do it all.
You can't be great at it all.
Right.
You can't do them all. So you got to be great at it.
And that's what you want to do. You want to build your team to be so confident. And it's hard, but you have to just be able to really let go of certain aspects of the business and operation and let other people be great. Edify them, push them. I love seeing like this here. Now I poured into you. Now you're going to pour additional into my son. I can tell him so much. But then when he fly out here and sit down with you, or you fly back to you sit down with him because I know that's what you're going to do. And then now he getting it from a different perspective and others.
He's going to tell the next.
And he's going to tell the next one. And then it's continuously passing on information, and then going to execute it. Yeah. And then he going to talk. And y'all going to talk. And then now you moving in that direction because that's where it starts. Day one.
So your my three keys to success. My 3 keys is, like I said, knowledge.
Knowledge is first. Knowledge is the power.
God is first.
Education, God first, then us.
Then knowledge is second.
Right.
And then commitment. When you put your mind to it, when you realize you can go straight, it ain't no, you can't wave off. And when you wave off, then you set yourself back. When you set yourself back, it's just like, not rushing. So I'm not a person like, I don't believe in rushing. Or letting someone else, switch my path up. So I can say I don't rush, but I don't waste time either.
Exactly.
So it's a thin line between not rushing and wasting time. You gotta kind of know. So those are my three. Your three. I'm gonna get a close out here and I'm gonna enjoy this.
Right. The biggest component with me, one of the number one words in my life is focus. Staying focused on the objective and checking off all your boxes. That's what I tell my team all the time. Check off on your boxes. It's as fundamental as from preschool through college, or whatever. Who's going to do their homework? And have the hard work, dedication into getting that objective done. And then the analytics that go with, in the mindset of resumes, executive summaries, capability statements, projections, forecasts, getting these business model things done for yourself. This is boils down to the component of quality life genre for yourself. So when you're doing those models, you're building yourself to the next level, and you're imposing your will. Say, I deserve this. It's like you see those nice glasses. When you can just put on some nice $25,000 shades, you were never able to do this. But you got to that point because you imposed your will. I deserve this. Now, I like them. They comfortable, but
got you looking like
I'm a little bit more conservative in certain aspects, and it's okay. But I can change that model.
You're watching,
Yeah, I've had certain things with now.
You spend money too.
But now just by building, land, everything, to build the $1 billion platform for the assisted living world. And then now, with your world and my world combined and all the other teamwork that we're going to do, now we've all poured into each other. Now you're building that team and that unity component, and we all sitting down brainstorming, and the way we work relentlessly, then now boom, everybody's legacy is built, everybody's wealth is built.
What you believe now? What's your what is your thought process on sleep? I believe in getting mine.
I think sleep is overrated. I think sleep is overrated. You need all that sleep. My body operates very different. If I get too much rest, I'm lethargic. So I can run 48 hours on 3 hours of sleep, and I'm excited because like I'm getting so much done because I'm running my days in time management, 15, 20-minute increments, and I'm checking off box, executing.
And it's different on that one. I believe in getting your rest.
Right, that's good, and that's okay. Everybody's body works differently, but the whole process of success is I'm getting it done. I'm checking off all the boxes.
Although you don't have, only have 24 hours in a day, so eight of that kind of. But I do. Maybe not every day you can get 80 in, but you know when to catch up.
Yeah, and then I'm on wellness. I got a wellness doctor. When I started going in out of China, Africa, Brazil, I picked up on Tai Chi breathing components. I do Thai massages. I work out. I walk 40, 50 miles every week because that's a component it's going to take for me to keep my body moving.
Yeah, so there you go. So you just kind of you pretty much substitute sleep with all the working out.
All the working out, walking, stretching, meditation, prayer, and eating right, drinking my water, drinking my coffee. It's just a wellness component of your life. Breathing, and then the biggest
breath.
Yeah, deep breath, open up your lungs to capacity, stretching. I'm 49, a lot of my guys can't touch their toes. So they sure can't run with me, because I'm determined. And I'm not going to give up. I'm relentless in the pursuit of succeeding.